under his belt, but hasn't got a European Tour title to his name so far. Adrian Lewis does seem to be once again in love with the Euro Tour. He had those 2 years where he opted not to come and compete only sparingly. He only competed in 3 European Tour events in 2016. Pretty much a similar story in 2017 as well. Missed out on the European Championship qualification, but last year he was committed to it, and this year he's on the brink of a final once again.
Yeah, did of course make the final in Gibraltar last year, beat our co-commentator Paul Nicholson in the semis. Great game that, went all the way to a last leg decider. But it was Michael van Gerwen who did for him in the final jackpot. No MVG here. And you would, well, I mean, I'm pretty certain that whoever wins this tie is going to be favourite to take the title in the final. But, hey, look, Keegan Brown is not scared of anybody the way he's playing. And Ricky Evans is playing really good stuff.
Yeah. Worth noting as well that Lewis did win that German Darts Masters title in 2012, but he was also the European champion a year later. Didn't win any European Tour events in 2013, but did go all the way in the big one at the end of the year in Europe. And he's gone all the way to the first leg as well.
Remember, it's first to 7 now in the semi-finals, so a slightly extended format.
Back up to 5th on the Pro Tour Order of Merit before this weekend as well, Adrian Lewis. He says he wants to be a top 4 player again, and do you know what? He could well do it. 15th on the Order of Merit right now, but he says that's where he wants to be. He says he is capable of getting back there, knows where it should be.
Yeah, if you're going to get there, you're going to have to go and win something big on the TV, like Daryl Gurney has just done. He finds himself number 5 in the world rankings.
But these are good building blocks for Adrian Lewis.
Oh, absolutely. And the important thing is you win a Euro Tour, then that's almost certainly going to get you into the Grand Slam of darts as well. So, I mean, at the minute, Adrian having won a title is there.
Well, we talked about it opening doors for Ricky Evans, for example.
Exactly.
Last year.
Keegan Brown, a man who's had a run at the Grand Slam of darts as well. You might remember him going to the quarterfinals. That was 5 years ago.
125.
Jackpot leaves himself a 2-dart checkout. Gurney needs 2 trebles in the ball, and he's not going to get them.
90.
A potential 11-dart break of throw for Adrian Lewis here.
Could be tops. There's one of them, and that's perfect. Oh, how is he not?
Daryl 71.
Misstarted tops for a break. Gurney looking at 71. Now looking at double 16. Gurney settles in.
Well, that's the sort of stuff he's been doing all the way through this weekend. The only real trouble he had came in the quarter-final against Stephen Bunting, where he nearly was made to pay. Didn't quite average 90 in that one, but he got the job done. And Daryl Gurney is making a habit of winning games. And if he can in the final, then he can blow anybody away. He is that good.
Well, you mentioned that recent win on the Pro Tour for Adrian Lewis at Players' Championship at 8 when he beat Barney in the final. That was his first PDC title. Players' Championship at 8 when he beat Barney in the final. That was his first PDC title in almost 2 years. It was his 25th PDC title of his career as well. So it was a bit of a landmark for him, both in terms of the numbers and in terms of ending what was becoming a bit of a drought for him. And he does seem to be playing with a new lease of life once again this weekend.
Yeah, it just seems very happy with his game at the minute, Adrian. I mean, we have seen him over the last couple of years look confused. I remember him turning up to a tournament and throwing Raymond van Barneveld darts, which are very different from the ones that he'd had made specially for him. I think these are new prototype darts that he's got, but they're certainly working. He's experimented with different speeds of play, and sometimes he's looked a bit baffled as to what he should be doing, what's best for him, but he just seems a lot happier and a lot more settled. No need to go 14 and ball, so he's setting that up. Adrian Lewis electing to leave double 16.
Well, let's just ask one or two questions of Adrian Lewis. Gurney down to 39. Lewis, though, looking at double 16. Has to readjust ever so slightly to get a way through, and that's a real awkward second dart. And it just took a slight deflection on the way through that third dart as well, and that's why he's off target, maybe. Gurney, 7 for double 16. And that does find its way through, and that is a breaker throw for Daryl Gurney.
Well, Daryl Gurney, 2 and 2 on double 16. Now will be a worrying sign for Jackpot, because Gurney does a lot of his best work on that double. It was the double that helped carry him to the World Grand Prix title a couple of years ago. Beat Adrian Lewis on the way to that title. Beat Adrian Lewis on the Euro Tour in the Netherlands when he made his first Euro Tour final. Daryl Gurney. When he beats Adrian Lewis, good things happen. Although Adrian has won 7 of their 10 meetings, including in this tournament last year.
140.
But Superchin seems to have settled down here. And if he can just carry on cruising along in that rhythm, we might well see something very, very intimidating.
Well, you often find when players do go on a good deep run in a tournament, there is often a chance to look back on the one match that almost got away from you, and I think that will definitely apply for the quarter-final with Stephen Bunting when Gurney won it eventually with his 4th match dart. There were just 1 or 2 doubts about his staying power at the end of that one, but in the end he just about got over the line. Had squandered 3 match darts, and that can eat away at you. But Gurney is ticking over very nicely. That's 3 without reply now. Daryl Gurney, a finalist in the Dutch Darts Masters in 2016. That was his first and so far only European Tour final. Daryl Gurney is just about almost halfway there. Remember, first to 7. Lewis off to a fire, though, in leg 5.
60.
Gurney of late has been very good at holding his own throw.
140.
He was only broken once in that battle with Bunting. He's got himself in a position where he knows if he can just keep on being strong on his darts, he'll get over the line.
And he's also fairly strong on the Lewis throw as well. Lewis still with the advantage.
57.
Gurney Army chants starting again. We've heard them a few times this weekend.
Tremendous stuff.
140.
Dragged himself into contention in this leg, Daryl Gurney. Jackpot wants 54 for the ball. Gets the 54. But not the ball. Loves this check out.
In his sights, definitely. He absolutely loves it. Bullseye.
96. Adrian 25.
25 plays 25. In leg 5.
It's a little problematic.
Ooh, he's had problems in that corner of the board. Remember, he had those missed darts at double 16. And he couldn't find his way through to double 8. And if Gurney can, then Lewis will be in a spot of bother.
17. Adrian 16.
it is pinned by Jackpot, and he cuts the gap to just one leg.
Pivotal leg, that one.
Sheepish look on his face. He knows he's got away with that a little bit.
Yeah, just looked a little bit embarrassed to have come away with a leg there because he knows he was lucky to do so. He mentioned his run to the final in Gibraltar. You look at his overall record, bearing in mind he didn't qualify for the European match play and he didn't turn up at the European Darts Trophy. In 4 of his last 5 Euro Tour events, or 5 of his last 6, in fact, he's made at least the quarterfinals. 3 quarters, a semi and a final. That is good going on the European Tour.
Super Chin has now hit 3 180s. They've come in the last 4 legs. We know that he can go in these runs of just putting a 180 in every single leg, seemingly all night. 102 average from Daryl Gurney. This is good. This is what we want to see from Super Chin. Stepping it up with the title, getting closer and closer.
Well, these two were 3rd and 4th in the betting respectively ahead of the evening session, the quarterfinals that got underway at 7:15. Gurney was 4-1 third favourite. Lewis was priced at 9-2. It was double figures, the rest of them, ignoring Price and Wright, who were beaten, of course.
Does he go for it? Does he?
Well, he did. Even though Lewis was on 2-4-7, that would have just got the crowd going. Not that they need any encouraging, of course.
Adrian Lewis fires it between the sticks. Daryl Gurney, single 15, will leave that double 16, which has been going for him. And it goes for him again. Daryl Gurney on double 16 is looking lethal. It has to be. It's number 4. Of course it's number 4. Daryl Gurney, biggest 180 hitter in the Premier League last year. Not quite been as prolific with them this year, but we know what he can do. We know he's got this ability. And when the big scores, the 180 start going for Daryl Gurney, that's when you do see him go and stick in those 105, 107 averages. Don't want to back it up with a 41, mind.
Well, Lewis had only lost 7 legs prior to this semi-final. He's lost 4 already in this one. 3 against Knopf, by the way, in the opening match of his campaign. German qualifier, 2 against Cullen and 2 against Peter Wright. Little feather in the cap there of Kevin Knopf then. Yeah. Took more legs off Adrian Lewis than both Cullen and Peter Wright.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure Adrian's pretty wary of lesser-known German players because it was his defeat to Kevin Munch at the World Championship which put him in this predicament where he's had to battle back and force his way up the rankings and play all the Pro Tours and Euro Tours that he can to get back in the top 16. And now, as you say, he's got his eyes firmly in the top 10 and beyond. And he's playing darts of late that suggests he can get there, and it might not take him very long. But at the minute, he is second best against Super Chin, the world number 5 and players champion.
Shanghai for Gurney.
Oh, lovely dart. Needs the single. Now the double.
80. Adrian requires 64.
Great first dart. Double 8 has been a bit of an issue for him at times. Over for double 4 then. And he gives himself a moment, Adrian.
56. Daryl required 40.
Gives himself a moment, but often you do just lose something, don't you? Doing the right thing, just slowing it down and composing himself, but Gurney's back in here and having missed one dart at top for a 5-2 lead. He makes no mistake that time.
Daryl Gurney needs 2 more legs, but he's got 2 breaks here. Right now, at this exact moment, Daryl Gurney is the favourite to win the German Darts Championship. A first European Tour title for Super Chin is there for the taking. But he has got to be wary of Adrian Lewis, who is still averaging, despite only hitting 2 out of 11 darts at double, he's still averaging in almost 97.
77.
Well, I wouldn't say Lewis has run out of steam just yet, but there are signs maybe that this day today so far is just beginning to catch up with him. Worked extremely hard against Joe Cullen, highest on-stage average in almost 2 years. In beating Joe Cullen 6-2, it was 109.97. And then he had Peter Wright in the quarterfinals as well. Is this just one match too far this weekend? Because Gurney is 6 darts away from a 6-2 lead.
Does he? Does he go for it?
102.
Well, I'm not sure if that's the wise decision. With the way he's pinning double 16, he could have just laid up and come back with 3 darts at it. But Daryl Gurney is evidently feeling confident. Let us see if it was a wise move by Super Chin. It's only next door he wants in double 8. And that goes as well. Superb stuff. 14 darter. Super Chin, 1 leg away from the final. It would be his 2nd Euro Tour final.
And for the 2nd time in this match, he's just been able to string a sequence of 3 legs together, and Lewis just hasn't really been able to land any punches or big punches in between.
100.
Well, look, Daryl Gurney was very, very efficient in seeing off Andy Bolton. That was at a 98 average. He was solid against Rob Cross, 95 average. He scrapped and battled and did enough to get past Stephen Bunting.
60.
But for me, I think this is as good as we've seen from him this weekend. Looks completely calm and in control and lethal when it gets to the end of legs.
Yeah, I think having dodged that bullet against Stephen Bunting, no pun intended there, I think Gurney is really thriving now. And he can sense this is a real opportunity. Remember, if Gurney wins this semi-final, we will have a new name on the European Tour Roll of Honour, whatever happens, whoever wins. But Lewis
96.
will keep fighting.
Adrian required 54.
No margin for error here. Tops for Lewis, 2 darts at it. Double 10. Lewis breathes again.
Well, Daryl Gurney has a chance to close this out right now. To do so without it getting too nervy or too stressful.
Lewis just thinking, OK, 1 down, 4 more to go. Big ask.
Of course, Daryl Gurney should have made a Euro Tour final last year, but threw away a commanding position against Michael van Gerwen.
Yes, he was 6-2 up in that one as well.
140.
9 maximums in this game, 5 to Gurney, 4 to Lewis. We might be about to see the tally matched, or not quite. He would have been on for a potential 2nd 9-darter of the day. Can you imagine such a thing on the European Tour? It's a shocker. Looked set to be on a checkout for the match there, Daryl Gurney. But as it is...
Will we look back on that moment in about 5 or 6 minutes' time?
Well, it could be a 10-dart leg here for Adrian Lewis. Jackpot is trying to move through the gears to stage a fight back. The doubles have not been good for Adrian Mo.
10-darter for Adrian Lewis. It's a break of throw, and 6-2 becomes 6-4, and Daryl Gurney might just be getting a little bit twitchy down there. He will be conscious of what happened in Zwolle. He was leading Michaels van Gerwen by 6 legs to 2 in that semi-final of the Dutch Darts Masters.
And look at that. Adrian has been averaging round about that 100 mark, high 90s, all the way through this game. But Gurney, he's just been in control of it. But that can change. Everything done in 4, 5 or 6 visits to the ball. We've not had one poor leg.
100.
Ultimately, that might prove to be the difference. Those 10 missed doubles from Adrian Lewis. Gurney, respectable 43% on the doubles, and particularly good on double 16. If he gets a dart for the match at that double 16, you fancy him.
Big wobble there from Lewis. 47 scored. Gurney given a nudge in the right direction.
99.
You suspect he needs 2 trebles at least here, Adrian Lewis. He's got those 2. And he fills it up beautifully to get himself down to 1-3-2. That's a brilliant piece of approach play by Adrian Lewis. Just when it looks as though Gurney might launch a counter-attack in this one. Gurney loses his way once again. 45 scored. So, 1-3-2, 6 starts from here. Adrian Lewis for 6-5. Treble 19.
64.
And that's okay. Or is it okay?
100.
Great set-up shot now. Adrian Lewis once again finds himself in a position where this has to go to save his skin. His skin is saved. It's 6-5.
And this is bubbling up into a potential classic, and the crowd are just beginning to sense it, and Gurney just looks a little bit taken aback here. And those ghosts of Zwolle will be re-emerging in his mind right now.
100.
And a ton is met with this response by Adrian Lewis.
140.
Tension. Is it getting to Super Chin?
82.
Great last start, vital last start. This is some fight back from Jackpot.
Lewis looks very composed out there, though, as well. That's the thing. He looks as though he's in control.
Well, that's it. We've seen him before try and fire himself up to produce his best. This is much more measured, but that is a sick maximum for Daryl Gurney. Is it the moment when he takes real control in this leg?
Terrific attacking intent from Daryl Gurney. Lewis needed that last start as well. Still feel Gurney maybe has one slip-up still left in him here. But maybe not.
99.
Tops for the match if he's allowed back. Treble 17. Oh, it slipped into the wrong bed, and Gurney does get match darts. He's 6 out of 14 on his doubles. One more, and Superchin's in the final. The world number 5 pins it. An absolute drama between these two titans of tungsten. 100 averages for the pair of them, but jackpot will not